But you will have the presentation. You will have the
you can always look
lecture.
at the presentation or ask us again if you.
No, it's going all of them questions.
Oh, maybe it will.
It's from the beginning.
Okay.
If not, it will continue from preclinical. But again, at the end, we will upload this presentation, just the PowerPoint, on DenSoc Muni. So yeah.
But so back to preclinical, really try to collect all the informations, material, whatever, from lectures and practices you can get, because that's really what they want to hear in the oral later. And the professors in dentistry, they have really their own, like, what they want and their own, like, theories, what they think is right, and especially Professor Kukletova.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
And because, like Moritz said, like the professors, that unfortunately, all the professors had their own thoughts about how preclinical dentistry is supposed to be and what we should know. So it's really important that always ask your professor, and also ask many of them. Don't go always to one specific professor. So if you, let's say in the preclinical practice, you have 2 or 3 professors or just general teachers there, always ask them like their opinion on your work. So you have.
But also consider finish one tooth with one professor, because they have a different point of view. So it will make you confused, or you will destroy part of the tooth and the other one not accepting. So it's better following one tooth with one teacher. And
about the book, like they said, the first 2 semesters, basically this year, your first year, you don't need any books. But maybe for your final, when you study, it's like a couple of books that you could use, but it's not that necessary. But those books you find on DenSoc Muni under the folder dentistry.
But don't worry about final yet. When your final comes, we'll have a separate presentation.
It's the next year you will have next autumn.
We'll explain you everything then again.
And just like the credits you have, you need to pass, like the credit, the pass mark is 70%. So when you have the test, you need to get 70%. But trust me, like, if you pay attention during lectures and especially also during practical, like before classes, when the professor talking about or explaining some stuff, if you pay attention to those, the credit will be easy as long as you pay attention. It's really important.
And they really want you to pass. Like they don't want anyone to be behind, like stick in preclinical 1. So they really help you, and it's not hard. Don't worry about it.
Like, even if you fail, it happened to us first semester, like some people failed, they will like go over the test with you and try to help you get those extra points, to still pass.
It's not only one attempt. So worst case, if you fail, you will have a new attempt on doing the test. And I don't think, as far as I know, at least the past few years, and no one has failed preclinical 1.
Yeah, and it has happened. You will get the same question for the second attempt. So
maybe just
A word of advice with dentistry subjects: the lectures aren't mandatory, but attend every single dentistry subject lecture.
Also, the professors will know you then and like you, and that's very good for clinical later, I guess. And
you'll be lost with the lectures without hearing what they said to all the things in the presentation.
Any questions about preclinical dentistry subject? Or should we continue with the next one?
Okay.
All right, anatomy, one of the other really, really big ones of your preclinical years. So for you, it's a bit different than for us because we had 3 semesters, but let's forget about this. So you will have anatomy over 2 semesters consisting of lectures, which I believe are online in the moment, and in-person seminars. First semester is locomotor system, so everything about muscles, bones, joints, all this stuff. And of course also about internal organs. And second semester is about neuroanatomy and topography. Topography, if you don't know, means basically like, how would you describe it? Like the regions of the body, how everything is like in relation to each other. Like you have one topography region, and then you have to say, okay, in this region there are those vessels and those arteries and those organs, etc., etc. So yeah, but for you now, you start with locomotor system. Before each seminar, I remember some people in your class had troubles with that, understanding like how this works with the robot. So you have a robot on a specific topic before each seminar. You have as many tries for the robot as you want, so you can like go over it like 1,000 times, but you have to pass it before the seminar so you can like attend the seminar. So don't worry about that too much. It's basically just the teachers want to make sure that you're not going to the seminar totally unprepared and don't know anything about it. Yeah, basically during the semester to study, like you should prepare for the seminars a little bit, so you're not like overwhelmed by studying for the exam in the end, because it's a lot of memorizing. It's not just understanding and 1 week of studying in the end.
Like,
and even it was the first year, we had it for 2 semesters, our group, and it was really overwhelming, so many topics, and they didn't reduce anything for dentistry. And even much more, because we have had more details, so it's really a lot, so you should do it week by week. Yeah,
and like Moritz and Nesana said, anatomy, it's this subject for like basically your summer exam, like in the spring. This anatomy is the hardest exam you'll have. Like this is the subject that people have struggled with, because it's a lot of information you have to learn. It's you have to know all the muscles, all the skeleton, like everything, like all the nerves. So it's a lot to learn. So that's why it's really important that you start now, and just you don't need to study like hardcore, but like slowly, just if you always prepare for seminar classes, that's more than okay every week, so that will help you. And this is like anatomy. The only thing I can tell you, study for it. Don't wait till next semester to study. Start now.
And yeah, for this, like, because like Aaron said, you don't need to memorize every single detail now for the seminars, but to get a good understanding of the topic, like videos are perfect. Like if you're, I mean, you all started studying now.
Dr. Najib is really good for nervous systems.
Yeah. Like we bought the main like stuff there, like there's CleanUp, and then on YouTube you can have Dr. Najib, or Dr. Najib has his own website too, and Ninja Nerd videos, like they explain really well. And for me, it's like I only noticed this like for myself after like 2 or 3 semesters, that like one 5-minute video or 10-minute video explains like material from 10 pages in a book or something, just like that, and you know it, then it's really good.
Yeah, like because for anatomy, like for preparation of this, like the subject to study for it, like you have that probably majority of you guys already got the atlas, like either Sobota or Netter, but that's like it's basically paper, so it's really nice to watch videos. Like can help, for example, especially for locomotor system, which you guys right now have. It's like for me personally, it was a lifesaver. Like it helped me a lot, because not only like it's videos and explanation, but it's also like color marking. So it's easy to see exactly like which part of the body or which part of the skeleton you should know, and names of it. And Dr. Najib, or like Ken Hub and Dr. Najib, both of them are like, it's not free, you need to pay for it. Like subscription.
Some of them we got from the friends, so they bought it before. If you need it, you can text us and we can send to you.
Yeah, and then while Ninja Nerd videos, it's on YouTube and it's free resource. And Ken Hub is good for now, like a locomotor system, but when it starts with especially for you for dentistry, especially when you guys start with neuroanatomy, it's really nice for Dr. Najib and Ninja Nerd videos, which I use when I had my anatomy.
Yeah, especially in neuro, you need videos are good, because I mean bones and like locomotor system stuff like this, it's easy to visualize in your head, but neuroanatomy is so small and complicated, like it's really hard to visualize, and so the videos really help in this part. And yeah.
There's also for first semester this app on for your iPads. What's it called?
Oh, yes, Complete Anatomy.
It's really good for first semester to just understand how the bones are connected to each other and the joints, how they work. It really helped me a lot, because Dr. Najib and stuff, they're good for second semester, but first semester really focus also to understand bones and muscles, and yeah, Complete Anatomy is really cool for them.
Like any atlas, yes, I would recommend you to have an atlas. Doesn't matter which one. Like I use Sobota, for example. Yeah, like Complete Anatomy, which we wrote also now in the comment section, thanks to Opt-in, Complete Anatomy. So this one, before, like with the atlas, I used the Sobota. I think Opt-in used, for example, used the Nectar. And I don't know which one of you guys did you guys.
I didn't use both so much. I used memories at the end, but don't work with memories right now. It's good for revision.
But in general, the white books is really good. You really need to know all sentences in the white book, because they are using for the exam based on their own explanation or their own sources.
Yeah, because the right books are literally written by the professors. So if you study for the exam later, go through the white books, but it's only text, so it's hard for understanding, but it's good
me,
for the
if you
exam.
have iPad or anything, you will just put your own notes on the atlas or somehow mix all together, because for me, I didn't do any, or I didn't write any notes. But at the end for the exam, I realized, oh my God, I did some big mistake. I didn't write notes from the beginning, and it's a lot.
Yeah.
If you're from the beginning, put the notes, put pictures, I don't know, mix with the white book, everything, then you will be fine.
Yeah. To your question, like you said, you technically don't need to buy. I think everything is available in the library on campus, like all the Sobotas, everything. Sobotas, you find even online, it's PDF somehow.
Like you will on Densol, that I'm mentioning all the time, Densol, Google Drive, but there you will find a lot of books, like for anatomy, for biochem, for biophysics.
For each set, for each subject, we have
so
books.
You should have you will have variety of ebooks, like PDF file books. And complete anatomy app, like I said, like the thing is with this, if you buy, let's say, on your iPhone, I don't know if it's at least for me, like I bought it on my Windows phone, so I could not use it on an Apple computer or on my Android phone. So you need to also, when you're gonna buy it, if you buy it, just have that in your mind, like what.
Use it on a big screen also, because it won't help you much on a phone.
Because I heard from many freshers, they're like, oh, we have the complete anatomy app on my phone. But I'm like, okay, it's nice, but at the same time, it's a small screen. If you have a tablet, either iPad or Windows Surface or any tablet, that would be the best place to use complete anatomy.
You can download it on your laptop also.
Yeah, like I have it on my
but I didn't use app, so person to person is different.
Yeah,
you don't have to.
Yeah, like this is just like our tips, like how we use it.
And one more thing to study, like for bones, you can, I'm not sure if it's possible right now due to pandemic, but you can visit on campus in anatomy department, usually like a few weeks before the exam, you can go to the bone library, like borrow the bones, study with them again after the seminars. So
that room is basically in the red floor, and one of the first doors after you pass the toilet section.
And usually they send you emails when it's open or like before
exams. Ask the teacher if it's possible and what time and when it's open.
Did you mention how the final is?
It comes next slide.
Any questions up till now? No?
Then we'll go to this. Okay, so first, before final, last semester you will have the dissection week. Like unlike medicine, who dissect the whole body, you will only dissect like head and neck. So what that is, basically you get a fresh undissected head and have to take it apart within 1 week. Usually depends on how it is now, but usually you're divided into groups, like one morning group, one afternoon group, and we'll work still on the same head. And usually like I think it was one group took one half of the head and the other group took the other half of the head. There I would really recommend to revise for each day and also the week before maybe everything about the head basically that you need to know, because this is really your chance to practice for the practical part of the exam. Just to know it in theory and then being able to find it on an actual specimen, that's like two totally different things. So really take this week during dissection week to find all the structures in the head that you can find. Basically.
Like when it comes to like Moritz said, dissection week for us is different for compared to medical students, because they have 2 dissections, which one is this semester and the next one is in the summer, like in the spring, when you guys have the head and neck dissection. And here is really important that pay attention and try to do as much as possible there, or at least how to call it, like basically understand it and see how it works. And also before class, or because let's say you guys are 18 people, so you guys will be divided in 2 groups, each will be around 9, and all 9 will not be able to work on the head. So usually maybe the first hour, let's say 2 of you, 3 of you will cut the head, while the other could either stand there and just watch or study. Just go over the theoretical part, so it will be easier for you. So it's really important to try to figure out what's the best way to prepare for dissection, because at the end of the dissection, you will have like on the Friday usually, or the following Monday, you will have your practical exam of dissection where you will be, you can just continue.
Yeah, okay, so final exam consists of practical part, a section test. I'm not sure if it's different for you or how was it for you. For us, it was literally the one day after the dissection week. Was it?
We had it before our final exam the same day because of Corona. It was a bit of a different thing. But it was totally fine also because we had the dissection before and we knew what they were going to ask. And yeah, then we just had the practical in the dissection room and then we went up to have the final, the oral one.
Yeah. So basically, final, you get 10 points. You need at least 6 out of 10 points to pass. And you have to either recognize the structure, like the professor will be pointing at this and say, what is this? And you have to answer, or she will ask you, show me the ophthalmic artery, and then you have to show the ophthalmic artery. And for each question, she can ask some additional questions. So with this additional questions, like she's really trying to pass you, she's trying to help you a lot. Even if you don't know the structure, then she will try to give you this point anyways by asking a few additional questions and see what you know about this.
Because like for us dentistry students, I think for you also, it was like you will have either Rachanska or Ivana. I think you already had Ivana during lectures, Professor Atlikova, I don't remember her name exactly, old lady, and then you have Rachanska. I think you guys had Rachanska during practical. If not, it's usually dentistry students having those two professors for practical lectures and final exam.
And they're both nice.
They're really nice. Yeah.
So as long as you show them that you have this knowledge and understanding, you should be fine.
Because in the end, no one expects you as a dentist to, point out stuff on a dead body.
On the next one.
Yeah, next slide. All right, so then there's the theoretical part. Basically, there are 5 sets of questions for your theoretical part, which you either pick yourself, or was it like randomly from the computer?
We had 8 questions and randomly generated from the computer, but we had it online.
So it depends on if you have it online, it will be generated by an application. If it's in person, you will pick.
Yeah. So for you, it will be 2 questions about locomotor systems. So one from points of joints and another one from the muscles. 3 for internal organs, so there's arteries and veins, 1 question, digestive and respiratory system, heart, lymph, urogenital, so overall 3 questions of that. 2 questions about neurosystem, 1 question will be either about CNS or the senses, like visual, hearing and stuff like this, and 1 question is about the peripheral nervous system. And then you will get 1 question about regional anatomy, so topography, for example, like I explained before, like the one region about the body where you have to know everything in basically.
One example of this can be pes anserinus minus or major, where it's basically a specific region. Like the major is like 3 legs muscles that where they are inserted, and then pes anserinus minus is about like somewhere in on your face.
Yeah, or you get the axilla, and then you have to know which vessels run through it.
That's the example of topography.
And there we have like this other book. There's a specific book. It's a green book called Regional Anatomy. You will also find it in the library. This is really good to study for this because they have schemes for all the regions and what important structures are in there. So Regional Anatomy, green book. Find it in the library and get it, or buy it if you want.
And Memorix is also helpful.
And Memorix too. Also a green book, but a bit thicker.
That one also you can find it on Densoc Drive, and that Memorix is also nice during dissection also because it's color marking, so it's good to figure out some section or some part of the head.
Okay, and 5th question is about imaging.
We didn't have it.
You didn't have it, but they will have it. So
you didn't have X-ray?
No. Yeah, but she sent me an email, they will have it. So you will have it. Sorry about that. But so 99% is X-ray. I don't know if they show you any other imaging techniques.
No, at the end they will send a PDF with like 60 images.
So they show you an X-ray, ask you to describe it. As long as you can recognize what's on the X-ray, you basically
the name of the specific
exactly the name of the X-ray. You're good with that. So just keep X-rays in mind. It's not super important, but while studying, always because all the X-rays that can be shown to you are in the end of the lectures usually. So just go over them before the exam and keep it in mind. You don't have. That's one of the exams I mentioned where you don't have any time for preparation. So you pick the questions, you go directly in and have to talk. So it will be, but also don't be scared about that. Like I had it the same because of pandemic and physiology this last semester. It's basically like a discussion, like you talk with her about it. She asks some questions, you answer. It's less scary than it sounds actually. So don't worry about this.
And Rachanska and Ivan are really nice. You don't have to be scared to talk to them. It's cool.
Yeah, so preparation, we say the most important stuff about it. Schemes, very important. You will see during lectures and practical lessons, especially Rachanska, she always tell you, like, draw a simple scheme of that, draw a simple scheme of this. There is a whole document with all the important schemes you need, also on the DenSoc drive. And if you can draw the scheme on the point there, then often they don't even ask additional questions and say, oh, you can draw the scheme, you know it, good, next question, you know. So this is, yeah, dentistry related anatomy is of course really important. Like often, if you don't know everything about foot muscles or something like this, they will kind of bring you through the questions, but about any theoretical question about anything in the head, you need to know, like 100%.
Basically, they will focus more on dentistry related anatomy, so more question about like nerves in the head or everything that's basically dentistry related. So compared to if you get a question about the leg muscles, that they will not be so strict about it, but if you will get a question specifically about dentistry, they will be strict about that subject, and because you're supposed to be a dentist and you should know and must know this knowledge, information. But yes.
Yeah, so, and that was it about anatomy, I would say. So any questions about anatomy, but we will also next semester we'll have, before your exam, another like seminar, academic night again, so we can, and then again explain everything to you. So
but like anatomy is a lot, so it's like now we have said a lot of information, so of course it would, like, even for me, I wouldn't, this would be too much for me, but again, that's why if you have any question, ask us. Doesn't mean that now we have explained it and that's it. We're not going to explain this anymore. We will, if you have any question and wondering about anything. So now, if you guys don't have any more question about or have any question about anatomy, we can start with the Czech language and.
Yeah, I can do it. Okay, so yeah, Czech language. You will have progress tests during the semester. So recommended to study for those progress tests, because if you, does the system still apply for them actually? The system that if you get over 90%, yeah. So if you get in all progress tests like an overall grade of 90%, you don't have to write the credit test anymore. So this, takes a little bit of the pressure away from the exam period if you don't need to study for Czech. So yeah, generally Czech is nothing to be worried about, but keep it in mind, like don't start studying all your vocab like 1 week before the credit test or 1 week before some exam or something like this. Try to do a little bit at each week. Basically the vocab you get from the yellow book and is enough to know, like if you go through the book, go through everything you did in the lectures, especially the dentistry related vocabulary. I think you won't have that much of it yet in this semester, but in the following semesters you will get more Czech about like what to say to the patients and stuff like this. Yeah, basically the credit test is also not that bad. Even if you don't get 90% in all the progress tests, as long as you pass all the progress tests, your pass mark for the credit test will go down from 70 to possible 60%. So that will make the credit test a little bit easier. You have 3 attempts for the credit test, like for all credit tests. Yeah, usually before the credit test, in class you will have a mock exam, which has exactly the same structure as the credit test. So you can really use this to see what to expect from it and how to study for it, like for the following week, or like whenever the credit test will be. Usually it's in the last week of, or 1 week after the last lecture.
And usually when it's got like your class also can try to agree with the professor when you want to do the credit test. So let's say, assume that your exam will, like your credit exam will be on 20th of December, but like basically the last class of Czech, you can discuss with the professor and maybe she will let you have it the week beforehand if you guys, let's say, want to go back home or something like that, or anything. Like if you the majority, like the whole class agree on a date, you can try to discuss with the professor and try to have it another date than specific that is set.
I mean, Czech is generally quite relaxed, I would say, right? So just, I don't know, like stuff you should always repeat and know all the time is vocab, of course, and maybe the endings for the different cases and stuff. But yeah, generally Czech is nothing you should be worried about. So any questions about Czech? One more thing I can say, like mostly people don't do it in the first semester.
How much time per week roughly would you recommend revising for each subject? Like which subjects will require more time than the others? additions.
Really depends on the subject. Like you can't really say and on the person.
Anatomy and
Anatomy should be the most time spent.
Yeah, anatomy is really the most time consuming, even though of course dentistry is for us like most important, but dentistry, because we're dentists, so it should come a little bit more naturally to you, I guess. But anatomy is definitely the most time consuming for you right now. It's something you should do every week.
Yeah.
But of course, I can't really say.
I guess for the final chemistry first, and then physics you can catch it during the exam period, so it's nothing.
The Czech teachers guarantee if you study Czech for 15 minutes every day, you'll be speaking fluent Czech by the end of fourth year.
No one has done it so far, so no one speaks fluent Czech.
But the most important, like at this moment, the most important thing you should revise or study, first of all, is anatomy, because you have to do it every week or every day until your final. And for this semester, like Sana said, medical chemistry and biophysics. That's basically those three subjects are the most important thing you should revise
because
often.
Those are the memorizing subjects where you have to memorize stuff. Like dentistry is also a lot to know, but it's more about once you understand it and do it actually practically, you will usually remember it. It's more like practical related. But the stuff where you have to memorize a lot, like anatomy, okay, Czech maybe also a little bit.
Yeah.
This you should really do during the semester. I can't really tell you how many hours because it's different for each person.
That's true.
But like try to do a little bit each week.
Yeah.
And one thing about Czech, there is Czech tandem. So if you really want to practice your spoken Czech, we have tips. If you want to really practice your spoken Czech, you can enroll for the course Czech tandem. That I have it for this semester also because I need some extra credits. So it will give you 2 extra credits, but it's also quite useful, I would say. So you'll get teamed up with a native Czech speaker, like another student. You'll meet once a week and talk about some general subjects. So it's really good if you have nowhere else to practice your spoken Czech. You can use this like as an advantage to you. Yeah, so basically the Czech books, like I said, are the best possibility to study. Use the lessons. Try to use the seminars, like to get as much out there as possible. Yeah, Quizlets, everyone studies vocabulary differently. You can write your cards yourself, or I use Quizlet online to study. Yeah, so basically, and yeah, don't forget.
If you guys don't know, maybe some of you don't know what Quizlet is. It's just like an online flashcard.
It's an app.
Yeah, app or websites where you basically type in. You can also use Quizlet for pre-clinical and also for anatomy or almost all subjects you can use it. It's basically flashcard.
And yeah, keep in mind, third year you'll have patients and they usually don't speak English that well. So it's good to have some Czech knowledge at least. So.
And also already you have the assistants during preclinical. They don't almost no English. They don't know. So you should know, try to learn the basic Czech words, especially during the preclinical, to manage to communicate with the assistant, because sometimes the professor will maybe go out or be gone for some time, and then the only one who can help you is the assistant in preclinical practice.
And they only speak Czech.
Yeah. Okay, so do you guys have any question about Czech? If not, then we can do the biology.
Yeah. So biology is kind of a tough one. Like some people really struggle with it. So I'd really recommend you guys to try to really go through the lectures thoroughly, so you really understood what this was about. And if you don't understand it, go on YouTube and look at AK lectures. There's so many videos, they will explain everything perfectly for you. And you shouldn't struggle too hard after that. But still, sometimes the questions can be phrased hard, and you really have to read through the questions in the tests so you understand what they actually want from you. And they're sometimes trying to trick you a little bit, but if you really read through it properly, you should be able to answer correctly. I'm not sure if you guys are going to have the progress test actually. Because we had a progress test, like 2 progress tests during the semester, and then the credit test at the end of the year in first semester. So I don't know if you guys have that. But if you have it, really try to pass the progress test. Because if you don't pass it, you'll have to write the credit test. And if you pass those progress tests, you don't have the credit test. So it's one less exam in winter, which is really great.
It's a negative mark for the
credit.
With a negative mark.
Yeah, exactly. The credit test even has negative marking, whereas the progress tests don't have negative marking. So even if you don't know the answer, just try to answer, the one that you think is right.
Because with negative marking, like almost all multiple choice tests in Masaryk in your studies are not with negative marking, but if you have one, like here the credit test in biology, it's like it really goes naturally against you not to answer a question, to leave a question blank. But with negative marking, it's really good. If you don't know for 100% sure, just don't give any answer at all, because it's still better than getting negative points. Yeah, exactly.
And like I'm a good example of that. I had to do my credit test because I failed my second progress test, and also you have a reset or you have a new attempt, which again I failed. So I had to do the credit, and I was regretting not doing better during the progress test because the credit test in itself, it's not hard. It's not hard. The knowledge you have from lecture should be enough, but it's just about how they are asking the questions, and that's like really make you confused. And that's why many people who don't pass or who fail credit test in biology, it's more because of the they get confused because how the questions are asked.
Because they're challenging, they are playing with the words, putting, I don't know, all of them, none of them. It can't be. So you really need to read carefully the question.
Double negatives, like they try to trick you.
You have students who has major in biology and still are able to fail credit tests, but in the end, everyone or majority, at least in dentistry, I think everyone has passed the.
No, not in our class last year. 2 people didn't pass, but you can pass it if you really try to understand it and you really go through the lectures. Like personally, I think lectures are more important than the practice.
Yes.
Because in the practice they do some kind of different things that are not that important. It's good if you understand it because it's going to be like a double insurance that you understood the topic. But the lectures are the most important.
Yeah, lectures, and for your final exam, here also a little bit the protocols from the practicals. Usually it's like there will be 2 or 3 questions about the protocols, like literally about information that you don't find in lectures, but in the protocols. So go over it, but mostly lectures. Okay. And, any questions about biology?
But also, it's really important, like, again, your final biology exam is it's next semester, but it's really important to pass biology because, as you see, it's a prerequisite for biochemistry, physiology in second year, and also microbiology in your third year.
And so if you don't pass, you'll be back in first year, basically.
Anyone who has their speaker on, please can you mute it because. And Mariam, thank you. Sorry, because it will.
If you have questions, type it out. And
yes. Okay. Any question about biology? Okay. Go back. So medical, basic medical terminology, or as everyone knows in Latin, it's here. It's like here you learn the Latin words and some Greek words, which will be really helpful for anatomy and other subjects throughout your studies. And the setup is almost like close to like Czech, how you have progress tests where you have only 2 progress tests you have to pass to now I mixed it
to
up.
get better chances.
Because like either like in Czech, if you have an average of 90%, you don't need to do the credit. There in Latin, if you get 100% score on both progress tests, still you need to do your Latin. The only good thing is for each progress test you pass, you will get deducted 5%. So if you pass both of the progress tests, you will on your credit test you will only need 60% to pass. And this subject, it's really how to say it's hard because especially if you're not good with language. So this is but it's really important for your studies, especially like I said, you guys have anatomy final, and here majority of the material is in Latin, like the words, the different names are in Latin, and also later in second year when you have biochemistry, physiology. Like I remember, or even like me, when I just recently finished my pathophysiology, and I could like on microbiology, like some of the diseases, and when I was reading it, I'm like, oh, this is Latin, that like because many of the name of diseases and stuff is in Latin, and Latin will be really helpful if you have a good foundation in this. And to study Latin, it's you have that blue book, and also the material you get during the seminars, and that's more than enough to manage to pass Latin. Do you have anything?
Basically, you have this table with all the endings for all the cases. Know this by heart, like, because for me, I always like learned it one day before the credit test or whatever, and then forgot about it again. Like, go over this before each lesson, like once. If you know this table with the endings by heart, know most of the vocab, you won't have many problems.
Yeah, like you get like 50 vocabs every week, I think. It's quite a lot. But if you put them in Quizlet, that's what I did. I always put them in Quizlet, and I just, even on the bus on my way to uni, I just always did Quizlet, and I was totally fine with the vocabs. It's really important that you know the vocabs, because otherwise it's going to be too many vocabs at the end of the semester and you'll be lost.
And yeah, basically, because you will do most of the like exercises in the book during the lessons, but not all of them. So if you really have struggles with certain aspects, like try to do all the exercises you can find, even online. Look, like I often found online like some additional exercises for some topics I had problems with, some grammar or something like this.
Because like the table, like Moritz mentioned, that declension table, it's vital, like we wrote there. It's really important. Like if you know that table, the rest of Latin should be you can overcome it easily, because that's like that's for all the words and different declensions. So that's like the basic with Latin it's about, how to learn Latin. So like for me, I remember for my progress test and also for my credit test and final exam, I remember I was like right before I was getting the test, quickly the first thing I was doing, writing, like basically writing, like making that table in front of me, so during the test I could easily go over it and check it. And then that table, as we said, you can find it in the Latin and Greek terminology in medicine book. It's a small book in, I think, blue or green color, and also you will get that table like from the teacher with colors, and that's really nice to have. So I would recommend to print it out or have it always with you during Latin classes, and it will be really helpful. Yes, and yeah, Latin is not so much, and also again, this is also 2 semesters, just remember that. But this semester you have just the credit, and next semester you will have the credit is, I think it's credit is like basically the written part of the final, and also an oral part where you have to read like a disease or some sentences.
Don't worry, you don't have to start talking in Latin. Like it will, oral part is you have to do some prescriptions in Latin and stuff like this.
But that you will learn next semester about prescription. And then another subject is ethics in dentistry. This subject it's like the least important subject this semester for you guys, because it's really simple. You have I don't know if you guys gonna have it online lectures or not, but for us, I remember we showed up and the professor was like, you don't need to show up. It's not that important.
But show up first lecture anyways. Maybe he changed his mind now.
Yeah, he's really nice that you will have a credit test or a final exam test where I don't remember. I think it's like 30 questions, and you need like 12 or 14 out of those 30 to pass. There's usually multiple choice and maybe just some open-ended, like what's the definition of ethics, for example, and then at least it was like that for us. And as you see, this is the medical ethic manual book. The first class, the professor will mention it, where you can go download it because it's for free. And also, again, you will find it on Muni Google Drive.
If you read through this once, it's enough.
As you see, it's only 73 pages, and it's a small book. Like that's more like you will be done with this in, I don't know.
And even then, like a lot of the questions were actually common sense, right? Like they asked you like, how would you treat this patient? And like then 2 of the question like possible answers were quite unethical and one was ethical. So like you kind of go with common sense. So.
Like in our year, last year, no one failed ethics, and I'm sure there were some people who didn't even read the book, but obviously it's good if you know what it's about.
And usually, like I remember in our year, 1 or 2 people fail, but they fail like they got just 6 or 7 questions correct. But later they had like consultation with a professor, and it's like he will ask you maybe 1 or 2 questions and you will pass. Worst case, if you get 0 out of 30, maybe you just need to do the test again. But usually if you, let's say worst case, if you fail with couple points away from the pass mark, you will have a consultation with the professor, and after that consultation you have passed ethics in dentistry. And yes. So this is now we went over all the subjects you will have this semester, and also some of them which will continue to second semester. And like I said, if you guys have any questions later on or even now, you can ask us. And also we made a dental survival guide, SEC, and you will find this on our Dental Muni Google Drive. As on point 3, it explains exactly how to find it. And this link I have also uploaded, shared on the fresher group of dentistry, where you can find exactly the link. And the important thing is, because this year some changes has happened, so that it's not updated yet, this dental survival guide document, but hopefully by next year everything will be updated and you will have the most important information
so
there.
Wait 1 week and then look for it.
Yeah, but same way as number 3 says, same way you can find other material, Dental Muni, Study Hub, study materials, and then you will find basically folders for each subject. And also you will find, I think, on Study Hub, and then you will find, like it says, ebooks, where you can find the books that we have used in different subjects.
Yeah, so before you go buying a book, always check if it's maybe for free on
if you don't mind having books on a PDF format, you can use it, and you have a free one. But of course, some people like to have it in physical form, and then you can either buy it, and also always you can check in the library if they have it available, so you don't need to pay, because like an Atlas book, which we mentioned earlier, it costs like a new version costs like 3,000 Czech kron. So it's not that necessary to buy a new one or even have a physical form if you don't mind having it in a PDF format. So basically now we are done with the survival guide, or the semester guideline, and Moritz will now continue about how work with IS Muni. So we will give him all the attention.
So basically, if you have any more questions about subjects, ask them now, and then we'll continue to IS.
Yeah.
So if you have any questions, go ahead.
But something I wanted to say about first year is that first year is one of the most important years in your entire study, if not the most important, because this year you learn everything, like how to study, the system, and whatever you put into this year will reflect on the coming years. Because if you if you fall behind in this year, it will stay with you throughout the other years and it will be like a snowball effect, like a domino effect, and it'll be very hard to catch back up. So this year, don't take it lightly, do the best you can and pass all the exams you possibly can.
Yeah, so Ellen has been the bad example so far in a few subjects, but now I'll tell my story. So I'm from our class, basically original class, I'm the one who fell behind because it was different for us. Like I said, we had anatomy for 3 semesters. So we had in 1 semester, we had to pass anatomy, histology, and preclinical dentistry. And I just started studying way too late. I, in the end, only passed preclinical and not histo and anatomy. And I told myself I can do it still in summer. But then in summer, additionally, there was biochem, there was physiology, and a few smaller exams. And in the end, it was just too much, and I had to basically repeat a year. So use this quarantine, perfect time actually now to get some studying done. You can party next year then. Use this to.
It's Corona, there is no parties. So
Exactly. Use this time really to get some studying done, to get the basics, the foundation for your studying.
And it's really important to find a study technique that works for you, because a good example, my first semester, for biophysics, because I did biophysics first, and that one I was studying hardcore, from 9 to 9 sometimes, and I got burned out. I got exhausted, and luckily I passed. But for the following exam, which was medical chemistry, I changed my study technique entirely. This time I studied for a few hours, and then I had a break in between. And even though overall I studied less, but I was studying more efficiently. Yeah, efficiently. So that's really important to find a study technique that works for you. So of
this
course,
is the year.
yeah, this is the year, or especially this is the semester to learn, especially for us, because we have two final big exams, medical chemistry and biophysics. So you can kind of figure out how is the best way for you to study. And also, of course, you will ask for tips and recommendation, but in the end, you're the one who's studying this, and you know yourself best.
And ask your classmates how they study, how they do it. Maybe meet up for studying sometimes. You know, it's like it's not only you. Like you have people who are in the same boat with you.
And the bad things is you are spending your time more on the classes for the first semester. So maybe sometimes you will not time really, but it's about making plan and asking people.
Don't think you have to study 12 hours or 14 hours. I've never studied more than 6 hours, I think, and everything was fine for me. So just have your free time, also have your relaxing time, because you can't you can't study all day long.
Okay.
Which way did you change your way of studying?
So basically, like I said, for biophysics, that was the first big exam we took. Besides, I had to do also biology credit, but that's something else. For biophysics, what I was doing, I would just read, a good example of my day, one of my days during exam period. I woke up at 8. And ate breakfast, and at 9 I was in the library, and I was literally studying. I was not leaving the library until maybe 7, 8 when it was closing. I was not using MedFac, which is 24 hour, like it's open all the time. I was using PhilFac, which is just one stop from Cheska, just so you know where it is. And I was studying until 7. Then when it was closing, I was coming home, eating something, and then I was studying maybe for 1 or 2 more hours before bed. And so overall, I was almost studying 12 hours a day. And after 1 week, I was exhausted. And I'm because that was my, after high school, I had 2 years off. So this was my first year of studying. So I had to just get used to my study techniques. And it was really exhausting. And I honestly, I got burned out. So what I was, when I passed my biophysics, I'm like, no, I cannot do this anymore. Like this, if I do this for medical chemistry, I will not going to manage to study for second year dentistry, because like we said, second year dentistry, we had preclinical histology and anatomy final in the winter, and then following in the summer we had biophysiology and biochemistry. Yeah, so it would be too much. So for medical chemistry, what I did, like Julie said, I didn't study the most I studied was maybe 6 hours a day, even less. So I had more breaks, and I just use the active recall, which I found that you can on YouTube search for it for active recall, the study technique, and you will see it. It's that's the way I studied for, and it was helpful for me.
And the mistakes,
active recall for just general.
The mistake I did, I went way too much into detail. So I'm not saying you shouldn't go into detail. Of course, it's important in some ways too. But first, make sure you about each topic, because I would, pick one topic first of one questions of the exam in anatomy and go study everything from it, and then the next, and then the next, and then I will find myself one day before the exam, and I know maybe some questions in super detail, but other questions I haven't even touched yet. And then if you're unlucky, you get the questions you haven't done anything about. So try to do the basics for everything, and then you can start going into detail. But yeah.
For some subjects, it's really helpful to just make up stories. Like, for example, I struggled with chemistry at the start, and I just made up stories, for example, when we had to learn the amino acids, because I couldn't remember it, because for me, it's just structures that don't mean anything to me. But I just made up stories, how to connect certain atoms with something, and then I wouldn't have to actually, understand it, but I would just have the mnemonic to always get if I struggle.
Yes, anatomy you will only have for 2 semesters, but I had it for 3 semesters. That was just part of my story.
And Dario is asking for biophysics. Is the professor requiring long and detailed protocols? No, just very basic, but just they need the theory and the conclusion.
Brief but on the point,
Yeah.
basically.
Conclusion is the most important part and is the part they read. The theory parts, the rest of the
Depends on the professor. Like some professors that really read the theories and some professors didn't
Like,
at all, I think. So.
Just
Don't forget about the units, number, everything.
for the theoretical part, at least like I did type in and I have uploaded my biophysics protocols, at least the theoretical part, on Densart Muni, so you can see it. And you like I used some older students' protocols and then just rephrase it to my own words and print it out for the classes. So you can also use that. You can see the examples of the like how I did my protocols in biophysics and like in the I got a good grade because they will grade your protocols even though it's not where you can get E on everything or just A's. It doesn't matter as long as they accept it. But like for me, I got good grades on the protocol, so you can try to look at it, just see if it's will be helpful.
Overall, like my advice is for each final, for each exam, is that know the basics of the entire subject, because in the final, there's no way to know every single question very, very detailed, and the teachers understand that. So if there may be like a few topics that you're so good at, but you don't have a basic understanding, the teacher will find out. The teacher will know, and she will fail you, or he will fail you.
Especially preclinical.
Especially preclinical.
Professor Kupletova, she's expecting you to know the basic before explaining something in detail.
But on the other hand, if you pick a question that you're not so good at, you knew like bare minimum of it, the teachers will understand and they'll give you like saving questions, or they'll try asking around the topic or other topics to see if you have a good understanding of the subject or you just don't know anything.
The recording will be available here in this team
on
meeting.
the MS Teams.
So you will just come here and you will see it's there.
Also try to speak to as many upper years as possible and get as many advices and see what they did to be able to make your own plan. Because everyone is individualistic studying. Like nothing works, not one thing works for everyone.
Okay,
Everyone
then
has their specific thing.
now we will start with the IS
Webinar.
Seminar, or and Moritz will do this. So yeah, you will just see him now from now on.
All right, hey guys. So just really briefly, I'm sure some of you have already like been on IS, so obviously you have and have done a few things. One moment, I'm just gonna share my screen with you. How do you share with the?
Oh, true. It's in Norwegian.
Yeah. How do you share the basic IS? You know. So and then I'll just go on the.
There now. Yeah, I think. Can you just tell us if you can see our screen, like my basically IS Muni website? Yes. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Then I'll just do it live, like here. Okay. So if you log in, obviously, probably you know this. You use your primary password. For logging into Wi-Fi, wherever you are, like every faculty of Masaryk, be it Bohunice, like campus or MedFac, like you always use a secondary, and to log into information system, you use your primary password. You can, however, change the password. So, okay, wait, hang on. First of all, I'm gonna explain the overall overview. So here on the side, you have your shortcuts. I'm gonna explain later how to do individual shortcuts. The normal ones are calendar, student costs, etc., and home, of course. On the side, you have some information. Most of them are in Czech, so usually I don't really pay much attention to them. But if there's something like changed about your course, it will be shown there. And then here in the middle, you have all your main applications. Here you can search anything in the IS you want, like be it teachers or applications or whatever. So, okay, first thing I'm going to show you is how to change your password. So for this, you go on more applications. You go on settings, and there it is, change password. Like I can click on it to show you. You can change your primary and secondary password to anything you like. If you like, just try to remember it, because I forgot mine once, and it's like you have to go to the study office. You have to prove that you study there. You need to bring your passport and stuff. It's a bit like an annoyance to actually change your password again then. So change it to something you remember, and that will be fine. Okay. So next thing I'm going to show you is how to send emails, because with each account you have on IS, you also have an email address, which is usually a utro number with @ and then was it munimail.cz. So for this you go on my mail. Here you have your just normal inbox, outbox. You can like write new mails, and if you go on settings, you can forward all the messages you get to here to your personal email address, so you don't always have to come here to check emails from professors for courses and stuff like this. So this is really useful to do. Okay, back to home. So basically one more thing, like really highly important information will always be shown here. So this will catch your eye the first thing you come in there. But the main application you will use is Student, where you find everything about all your courses. So you have like all the courses you enrolled in. Like this is my current semester. You can change your semester up here. So basically I'm going to change it to my fresher year. So you'll see exactly what I did back then. So yeah, that was my first semester. You see I had anatomy and all this stuff. You just click on a course. Like the red circle is basically which faculty it is, Faculty of Medicine. Here you have the type of completion, like usually just Z, okay, like for attendance or for credit test. If you have an exam, it will also show your grade there. So for example, let's say you failed your first attempt, you will have an F there. If you failed your first attempt but passed your second attempt with a B, you will have an F and a B. And if you didn't show up to an attempt, let's say you booked an attempt, but you decided you don't have time for it.
Chemistry, you didn't attend.
Yeah, exactly. I can exactly show you on medical chemistry.
Lecture. Yeah.
Where is it?
Down.
Yeah, there we go. Because I didn't do it, because I was too busy with biophysics, I waited for summer. So with each semester, you will lose one attempt, even if you didn't attempt the exam anyways. So you will have this little line, and then I tried again in summer, and I'll get the D. Little advice here is it's always better to try it and have an F instead of this, because if the professor sees this, they will say, oh, you didn't even try, like what was up there, you know, like at least go and try. And even if you know you will fail for sure, sometimes you're lucky and at least you get through the written part, or at least you know how the exam will be structured.
Just I want to add something. So like Moritz said, let's assume that you have booked the date and it's too late for you to cancel that date, and what happened to Moritz, and because of that it's best to just show up, so at least you will see the exam, even though you know you're gonna fail. Maybe you're lucky, you get some easy questions and then you can pass, but if not, at least you show up and you see how this setup is. That's really good too. So don't, if you know you're not ready but no choice to cancel your exam and you still will lose that attempt, better to show up and to get an F than a dash.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, all the other informations you can get from this page. Basically here are the teachers. If you click on them, you find their pictures, you find their email address, how to contact them. Yeah, you find your timetable, and also very important, like especially first semester, how to find the room where the lecture or the course is in. You'll see the room number there, and if you click on it, you'll literally get pictures of the room. You'll get a map where it is. It can be either on campus or on medfac. You get the room number, the address, everything. So just click on the room number and it shows you how to find it. So you won't like spend time half an hour running around campus trying to find the room. Okay, the catalog gives you all the information about the course you need. So basically the syllabus, the literature. If you want to know if it will be an exam in the end and how the exam is, like it will show you under assessment methods, it explains the exam, the teaching methods, like for you it will be like probably mostly online now. And also the prerequisites. You can see if you need to pass this course for other things next semester. So you can check here either the prerequisites this course is for, and also the prerequisites this course is, the stuff you need to pass in order to enroll into this course. For me, it shows condition not met, for example, for some reason, even though it's first semester. So yeah, basically catalog all the basic information. Then some courses have an interactive syllabus. I assume like Shek has it, for example. Yeah, there it is. So interactive syllabus, not like many courses has it, but check, for example. So if you go on it, okay, it's not activated anymore because we passed it already, but it goes week by week, and the teacher can upload study material and like homework and stuff like this in it. So this is something some courses have. Very important.
Structured compared to study materials.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Exactly, because the study materials is like basically everything that the teacher uploads for you to study are learning materials and study materials. Very important because those are usually the stuff you need to pass the exam. And basically what the interactive syllabus is the study materials, but kind of in a more like structured way, week by week. So you can find for which week, which study material was uploaded. Reports are those multiple choice online tests. So if you will have the report for a final exam, you'll also find it on IS, and also those practice reports for check, for example.
Chemistry, you can show the practice.
Oh yeah, like, okay, first, for example, here there are like some practice reports for check. So hopefully your teacher will upload some grammar reports for you to practice. And in medical chemistry, we told you earlier that there is a practice report too. So those are all the ones for the exam, but you can have the answer form, like that's a practical one you can do anytime and it changes, so you can practice for the real exam report in the end.
And it's really, we recommend you to do those practical report in medical chemistry, because like for each time you start a new one, you will have a new set of questions, and overall you will get at least couple of those questions on your final exam report part also.
Yeah, exactly. Last thing about this is the notebook. In the notebook, basically, there's stuff like the points you got on progress tests, the point you got on credit tests. If there's a course that requires attendance, often the teacher will write your attendance in the notebook. So if you want to check, yeah, exactly, presence, absence, etc. So for this, you'll just find any notes the teacher gives you on this course. All right, so next thing I will show you, if you want like a shortcut to something, because the general shortcuts are here, but you can create your own ones like I did for examination dates, informational notebooks. You go on any site in IS you want as a shortcut, and you just click this little button and it will like transfer to the site, and then you can just click it to get back to the site. Okay, so now I go through the rest of student. In start of term, you have something very important, is course registration and enrollment, because now you got enrolled into everything automatically. Next semester, you also get, for all the mandatory courses you have for dentistry, you will be enrolled, or like enrolled and registered automatically. But first you're only registered, and then it just shows not enrolled yet. And when enrollment period starts, you will be also automatically enrolled. But basically here you have an overview over all the enrolled courses or registered courses, how many credits they bring you, and yeah, stuff like this. If you happen to fail some courses in the future, like I did, and have to repeat a year, you will have to get some extra credits. So you need to enroll into certain courses to give you some extra credits, and I'm gonna show you how to do that. So first of all, how to find those courses, like we would go back on home, on courses, obviously, and browse the catalog of courses. And here you have the catalog of all the courses of all faculties. So you can like do advanced options. So what I always do is like, you go on any faculty, you select the term you want, you click offer to students of any faculty, and then teaching language English, for example. And then you'll find all the English courses which are from other faculties you can enroll in if you need some extra credits. For example, it doesn't even have to be anything with medicine if you just need the credits. For example, this semester I have something called Japanese movies, and we literally just watch Japanese movies like once per week, and in the end there's a small test about it and it gives you 5 credits. So if you need some extra credits to make it to the next semester, then you can like enroll into some courses. And register for courses you do by copying the course code, which you find here. Going back to student, here you can, for example, use the shortcut.
Alicia is asking, would you recommend enrolling in elective courses in the first semester? And
no,
yeah, like I would not recommend that, because the first year, you have more than enough of subjects to worry about, and the elective courses are recommended if, let's say, later where you, like Mola said, you see that you will not be able to get obtain enough credit to pass the semester. And also, like, another thing is like a physical activity courses, which is...
Yeah, I'll get to that anyways. So yeah, elective courses, really, because you need 20 credits to get to the next semester, really only do elective courses if you don't have enough credits, because usually you're enrolled, you see here, for 30 courses, 30 credits, sometimes even 40 credits or something. So even if you fail some of your courses, you will still have enough to get into the next semester. So just do elective courses really if you wouldn't have enough credits otherwise. But one thing you also have to do, hang on, I'm just gonna show you. So to add the normal elective courses, you take the course code, go about add courses by entering the codes. Okay, I can't do it. Wait, I'll have to switch from to my semester for this. Yeah, so add courses by entering the codes. Then you choose a faculty, put in the code, specify, and then the course gets shown, and then you can register for it. If you meet all the prerequisites, then you get enrolled too, and it's no problem. Another thing you have is sport courses. So if you go again on enrollment and registration, you go all the way down and see required physical education. Here it shows you basically what you need to know, because you need to have 2 semesters of physical education before you finish your studies. You can see I already have 1 semester of climbing done. And if you want to enroll for this, you can again go on home, like to find the list of the sport courses. Go on courses, browse catalog, and then you go on faculty. You choose not Faculty of Medicine, but Faculty of Sports Studies. Use that. You choose the term you want to have it, and then you type in P9 and the percent symbol on your laptop. Yeah, there it is, P9%. And then you'll have all the required, because every required physical education course you can have starts with P9, and the percent always means P9 and everything that can follow. And then you can basically choose one. There's ones in Czech and English. If you like, Czech is usually not a problem because the other students, they speak English, and also the teachers usually speak English. But if you're uncomfortable with that, there are also English sport courses you can choose from. So if I do in English, see, you have like about 12 courses to choose from for English sport courses. Most sport courses is not difficult to enroll in, but some are really popular, for example, climbing, stuff like this. So there's only like 1 seminar group and only 12 people, and like a lot of people want that. So if you really want a certain like specific sport course, you can register for it in a special way.
A question, will we have any exam or credit test in physical education?
No, just attendance. And usually even, I think you can miss like 3 or 4 courses per semester or something like this, and you'll still get the credit.
And if it's the end exam, it will be more like to see if you understand, let's say, climbing, how to use but it's not the exam or credit as we know it from medical, from a Faculty of Medicine subjects.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to do, yeah, exactly. You don't have to do it in the first 2 years. You have to do it before finishing your studies.
Yeah, like so, me, I am now in my 4th year and I haven't done one single. I was supposed to do it now, but because of Corona, it got canceled. You don't need to, like, I would recommend you, like, don't do it the first 2 years because it's too many subjects to worry about, even though it's just like once a week for 1 or 2 hours. But try to do it after your 2nd year. So I think you did it last semester. Like
I did last semester, and I'm doing one this semester, but I'm not sure if it will happen yet.
Yeah, so don't do it in the first 2 years. Don't worry about physical activity. You can do it if you feel like you want to do something. Let's say you like to climb, you are a climber, and then you can also do it. So then you have also do something. And it's two mandatory semesters of physical activity, but you can also add, like,
you can do more, but then you will have to pay for the course. I think they're not expensive. It's like 300 crowns for the semester or something like this. So if you really, Czech crowns, obviously not Norwegian crowns. Okay, so if you really want a sport course and you really want that specific one, you can prepare a registration batch. So basically you enter, again, the faculty, you do a faculty of sports studies, you enter the course you want and specify, and then usually it shows you registration for sport courses starts at like 5 o'clock on this date. So then really 5 minutes before this, prepare this batch and do it like click on specify like a few times, before. So you will be really the first one to register into this course, and then you usually also get a place in it, even into the more like popular sport courses. But yeah, don't worry about physical education too much. Like first pass all your important exams of this semester and do it sometimes later. Or if you really want to do it, if you do sport anyways every week, then
after you're done with biochem and physiology, then you can start worrying about physical activity,
exactly.
to be honest.
All right, back to student. And I think about start of term, I've showed most of the things, basically. Okay, teaching, not
with the seminar groups, you don't need to worry about in dentistry because we are just one seminar group. This is more about for medical.
That's for medicine, exactly. One thing you can maybe look at, if you look for elective courses, if you need credits later, you can look at courses most enrolled in most often. Okay, it doesn't show here right now, but usually it shows for each semester how many percentage of people enroll in what kind of courses, and there you can like get a good idea of.
And also like for the physical activity, because it depends on from sport to sport, like how much credit you get. So also
they're all 1 credit. I checked actually.
Before you could choose, and then it's like depending on. Okay, then maybe.
I think they're all 1 credit, but if there's one with 2 credits, then you would have basically everything you need in one course done.
Yeah.
Okay, so next important thing is end of term. So first of all, you can see all the grades you have obtained during 1 semester. So that's pretty straightforward. And very important, examination dates. So for all final exams, you have to like book your examination dates.
If we go up, you can just show a previous displayed. Should be like pre. Okay, no, madam.
No, I think I can.
Oh, this is this semester, right?
So I can. Okay, anyways, I'll explain it to you. So usually the possible examination dates you can have of your courses are shown here. And basically you choose a date. Sometimes you share them with medical students and there are more dates available.
Biophysics and biology.
Biophysics, I think, and biology you share with medical students. So you have more dates available, but also there's more competition for the good dates. Like mostly people want like the first possible dates. But don't panic too much, because usually in the weeks before the exams, like in the exam period, a lot of people rebook their dates, and always keep looking like maybe you're...
I have, couple of... during the MIMSA semester guideline, they mentioned that the first 2 years are survival years. Is it similar to dentistry? And another question, would you say the first year is the hardest? Yes. The reason is, from my personal view, the reason for it is because it's the first year of your studies, it's the start of your studies, and also it's the preclinical years where you have a lot of theoretical subjects. Especially for us in dentistry, we not only need to worry about dental subjects, we have to worry about also medical subjects, which is anatomy, histology, biochem. So yes, like the first 2 years are really it's hard because it's a lot of information to get through. That's why. But you should be fine. Don't worry about it.
But so basically, once you pass all the important exams, you have the clinical years. You still have to study, but it's like all a little bit less intense, let's say. So just like study now as hard as possible, and then you'll be fine.
And the reason later it's easier is because it depends on your foundation, like in the previous subjects. So if you have a good foundation, let's say in anatomy, and this will also in histology, it will help you later in upper years subjects. Or for me, for example, I had pathophysiology this summer, and it was really like simple or it was easier than expected because my basic understanding or my foundation from physiology, which I had the year before, was good enough, and it was more revision than learning again.
Yeah. All right, so back to booking exams. So something really important if you really want a specific exam date because it fits your study plan. The way to book it is you go, like I can't show you here right now, but you go on book the exam, like it's a little like button, and usually the booking of the exam opens at a certain time and date. It shows for the exam date. It says like usually at 5 o'clock it opens on this date. Then it's possible to book. So what you do, you go somewhere with a good internet connection. Like if libraries are open, you will see you doing this time in the library, like everyone will be sitting ready to click on this button.
Because usually the exams will like what it says 1 week, 2 weeks before, the dates will be up on iAssistant, so you will see which dates you can have the exam, and then the following week, that's usually on a Sunday, 5 p.m. That's when it's open for reservation, and that's when the war starts.
Yeah, and the war, to win the war, you have to do this. You go on the button you want to click for book the exam, you hold control of your laptop and you click like a machine and like open all the new tabs. Like I can show you like on something else. Like if you hold control and click, like you won't go immediately to the new tab, but you'll stay in your old one.
Go on that a second, and then display all examination dates there.
Yeah.
Because basically, when you get this is how the dates will be available. Like and it's also explained how to book and how how the exam date is.
And where it is and all. And here it is. Attempt to reserve a slot. So you hold control and then really do this.
This is usually for a Windows phone. I don't know exactly how with Apple or MacBook is for the quick, but if you have a Windows phone, you hold control and then click quickly.
Like 5 seconds before 5 o'clock, and do it like over 5 o'clock, and then usually you have like your
because don't expect like, let's say when at 5 p.m. The date's open, don't expect to just click once and you have that date. No, that's why you have to click. Like usually I open at least 10 tabs. I opened 10 tabs, and maybe it's the 5th one that I got.
And date. You basically booked your date, and like 1 second sometimes after.
Sometimes 0.1.
Sometimes 1 second it's booked out already, but even then, don't panic. Like often, like people panic before the exam and rebook their date, and then you might get your favorite date in the end. So don't focus too much on it. Like as long as you get exam dates in the end, it will be fine. And even if not, or even if you think there are not a lot of dates displayed, like often the teachers will add additional dates in the end of exam period, or you can even ask them, like write them an email and ask them to add an additional exam date, like if there's no other exam date that suits you, or if they're all full or something like this. So usually teachers are quite nice in this. Depends on the subject though. Some subjects they don't do that, some subjects they do that. All right, so basically back to this. To end of studies. So that's far in the future, of course, but what you can look here, like you can book your state examination, but also all the grades and credits obtained during your whole studies. You can watch here for each semester, your average grade for each semester, everything you failed, basically all the information for each course for your whole duration of studying.
When would you recommend to book an exam? At the end or at the beginning?
It depends on how many exams you have in this semester. Like, of course, the earlier the better, because if you fail, then you have time to try again, like a few weeks after. But if you have like 5 exams in one semester, then you really need to make a plan for yourself.
So it depends literally on how many subjects you are and stuff like that. Like one example, again, I'm using biophysics, where the first time I booked, I had it on the 24th of January. But like I said, I got burned out and I got exhausted. So I was like, I cannot study until 24th or 27th. So what I did, luckily, because usually people who book one of the first dates, they get cold feet and last second they cancel their date, and then you can or exchange with other students, you can also show them that you can where you can apply for exchange. So it depends on basically on how you plan your exam period. But I wouldn't recommend that you take one of the last dates, because you have to assume, like, you have to think that worst case scenario, that maybe you fail and then you have no more dates available to book. So it's better to like somewhere in the middle, and then maybe you can either change it to earlier or later. If you go just on
here. So okay, now it's not here. How to do it?
Just go on end of term.
End of term.
Examination.
Yeah, exactly. So you can apply for like a date exchange, and if someone else on this date also wants to exchange, like the system would do it for you in the
because end. This will be shown when you have. Oh, can you see? Maybe you have done something.
No, I've never done it. I think.
So how it will be?
Oh yeah, no, we exchanged the date.
Yeah, true. So basically, how you do it, you type it up. Just go back again. Yeah. But you type in the subject you want. Like, oh, I want exchange my date with a specific date. Not just, let's say I had it on the 15th and I want to change it to the 10th, for example. So I want the 10th. So I ask for someone who want to change it to the 10th of, let's say now November example, and then someone else in the same examination group will see this question or this
like it will tell you like this guy wants to exchange.
Yeah. Do you want to exchange? And then you can just exchange. Then he will get like, which happened with me and Moritz. He got my date while I got his date, and that's possible also. Or in your fresher group, usually people ask each other if anyone want to change their questions dates.
So yeah, that's basically it about exam dates. Doing studies, it's not that important. If you need your confirmation of study for anything, like for transport ticket or stuff like this, like you can get it here online and just print it out. Or if you need the original, you have to go to the study office. Yeah, exactly. So with student, we're basically done. This is the main application you will use. A few other useful applications are your calendar, for example, and your timetable. So very simple, you just see like everything you have like per week, month or day, you can specify. Your timetable, if you scroll down on the calendar, you'll see here. So here you see your timetable for the whole semester for each day. So yeah, that's very
you
simple.
Can show them how to download it and get it on your own calendar.
Can you? I don't know.
Okay. That's a good question. Wait, so the timetable you have where you can see it here, but also you can download it so you have it on your personal calendar, either on your laptop or on your phone. So what you do, that's a good question. How did I do this? Timetable and
display options.
Yeah, display. True. You choose display option, and then you use calendar. And then basically, what do you want the calendar include? But usually you don't need to press any of this. This is not the important part. And you press show, and it should as you see, it downloads on here. And when I open it, I don't want to do it because I already have one, so it will be the double. But you will open it either on your laptop or on your phone. Same outcome. And when you open it, okay, I can actually do this. When you open this. And as you see, all my lecture, or this is from last year, or it's Moritz, but all of them will be here, and I will choose which of my mails or calendar I can choose from. When I have chosen this, I like it. The Norwegians will here understand that it's like add to your calendar, but I'm not going to do this. So this is a good way to do it because so you don't need to have like a screenshot of your timetable or anything like that. So you always have it ready on your calendar and for notification and reminders.
Yeah, exactly. And that was basically most important things. One more thing, which people really don't tell you in the beginning, like I've missed out, I think, on 2 semesters of money because you actually get a so-called accommodation grant or scholarship each semester for literally doing nothing. So it's basically a scholarship you get. It's about 3,000 crowns usually. It varies from semester to semester, and all you need is a Czech bank account number, and you can apply for it once per semester.
And you will get an email from the uni.
Exactly.
It's just like it's time for applying for this.
Yeah, and because no one really told me that, and I was ignoring those emails because I thought like I don't qualify for scholarships.
Yeah,
no,
because
thank
you
you.
think it's just for Czech students, or someone who's from Czech Republic.
But I mean, it's 3,000 crowns, but money is money. Nice. So exactly. So you go on scholarships. First thing you have to do is set an account number for the scholarship. So basically,
it has to be Czech.
Yeah, it has to be a Czech account number. So if you don't have but you're going to live here for a while, so get a Czech account number if you haven't yet. It's useful anyways. So you have to put that in there, and then you can below the application for accommodation grant. You go on there. Yeah, right now it's not the time yet, but when they send you the email when it's time to apply for it, and then. Yeah, you can apply for it, and that's it basically. Yes. And then usually, if you like a month or two later, you'll get the message that it has been granted, and then another month or two later, you'll get the money.
Usually, like during Christmas time, you will get it. And as you see, there is his Moritz account, and that's.
So if you want to send me some money, here's my account number. So yeah, basically this you can do for some extra money. And that's basically all the important things about IS. There are a lot of other applications, like about the shopping center, but I've never actually used those applications for anything. You can find people, but usually you can only find the people you actually enrolled with, right?
You can find any people specifically.
Teachers, you can find them. That's basically.
Like we can just do an example of finding people. Like we can find some of those who are in this. Or actually, maybe find Julie. Just search for Julie.
Okay. So Julie or Julia?
Julia.
TTE.
TTE? Okay, Juliet. Yeah, there she is.
Pardon. And then you will see the email and just click it and just.
And how to contact the person exactly.
Yeah, as you see, and the good thing is also you can show them how you can change the profile picture.
Oh, I can do that.
I don't know.
But yeah, like this is how you find the people.
No, they can't change the official one. They can do the other picture, but the same one they need.
But yeah, like anyway, under the profile you can see what they are studying, which year, which group, and also on the profile you can add them to my friends, or any groups, see if they are in any groups and talk to them. And this is a nice thing to have, but it's not so much like
interesting if we want to stop some people.
International students are not using it so much.
So, and that's basically everything about the IS. So yes, return to
just open this.
This
double click this. Not just there and just so is it then? Yeah, all right. Sorry. We are done with the both seminars, both academic and IS seminar. Do you have any question regarding any of those parts? If not, then I will. Thank you. And then we have recorded it, and hopefully you can find it. I hope you have find it because it's still recording. And yes, thank you for all of you who joined, and hopefully this was helpful for you. And yes, and again, one more time, if you have any question, email any of us, and especially your mentor, because we are here for you guys. So especially like when us three, when we started, we didn't have this system like with the Densart Muni. That's where our year made this, and it was really hard for us to get help from upper years. So I hope this will be also helpful for you guys. Yes. Okay. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.